Hello, my name's Ruth. I'm a qualified primary school teacher with a background in primary music education. I currently work as a singing teacher for Low Academy in Sheffield, and I also work as part of the professional development team at Twinkle. Over the years, I've held roles such as Head of Primary Music, I've worked for Derbyshire Music Partnership, and I've also taught both Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2 primary classes. I'm passionate about supporting teachers, especially those who may not feel like they are music specialists, to deliver exciting, engaging music lessons. I'm really looking forward to being able to share some practical ideas and insights with you today that can hopefully make music a joyful part of an accessible part of every classroom. The reason I wanted to share some ideas with you today is during my PGCE, I chose to focus my research project on a topic I felt really passionately about. The title was An Exploration of Non-Specialist Primary Practitioners' Confidence in Delivering Quality Music Lessons. I, of course, was encouraged to shift my focus to something seen as more academically essential, a more core subject, but that highlighted exactly what I wanted to challenge, which is the way music is so often overlooked and undervalued. So today, my aim is simple: to share ideas, offer inspirations, and most importantly, help you build your confidence in delivering meaningful and joyful musical experiences for your class. Time and time again, teachers tell me that they struggle to teach music because they can't read notation. But this really shouldn't be a barrier. You don't need to read music to teach it well. Instead, shift your focus away from written notation and center your lessons around practical, accessible activities like rhythm and pulse. One really powerful way to teach rhythm is by using words. Many of you will have seen the rhythm word associations like bee, bees, spider, bee to represent crotchets and quavers, but let's go a step further. What if children created their own rhythm patterns? Could they then compose these short rhythmic patterns themselves? So, for example, it could be ice, ice, water, ice. You could then even take it further by asking them to play these on untuned percussion instruments. For slightly older children, what you could do is you could even pitch these so their word compositions could then be played on tuned instruments. So, for example, ice could be a C, water could be an E. So it could be C, C, E, E, C. It's a great way to get children composing. Body percussion is another fantastic tool for gaining a strong sense of rhythm and pulse. Ask children to create a 4-beat body percussion pattern that they can repeat, and then build this into a layered class composition. So you could have children in groups doing one rhythm, then another rhythm, and gradually build them up, creating texture and structure. You could also throw in some dynamics in there to really stretch your class. Don't forget the power of cross-curricular links. Literacy is a brilliant way in. Take a poem, a chant, a repetitive story, and speak it to a steady pulse. This is great for EYFS and Key Stage 1, so you could have them repeating some of the words of the story as well to that pulse. You could even add in actions and dance moves to make it more interactive and engaging. Create a soundscape using percussion instruments, or just any objects that you have around the classroom as well are great. So the key messages here: you don't need to know the dots to deliver rich musical experiences. If you can clap, move, and speak, you can teach music. Many schools face limited funding for arts education, and music is often one of the first things to be cut. Teaching without resources can feel quite daunting, but it doesn't have to be. I'm going to share some really simple, low cost ideas to help you bring music to life, even if your school's music trolley is looking a little bit sad. My go to is plastic cups. They are cheap, they are accessible, and they are really great for teaching rhythm and pulse. On my blog, From Panic to Performance, I share some ideas on how you can use plastic cups in your music lessons, and also on my Instagram page. You'll find really interesting ideas for building up musical skills, but I am just going to show you a quick example now using Little Liza Jane. So each child starts with a cup in front of them like this, and I usually get the class to sit in a circle. Make sure that you emphasise not to touch the cup until they are told to. You will see me in the video doing this, and that just means passing the cup to their partner. Don't worry, you can build up to that. So the first bit goes like this. I know a girl that you don't know, Little Liza Jane.
Way down south in Baltimore, little Liza Jane. Then you will start to pass the cups. I would get the children to pretend passing, like I'm going to do now, until they build it up. Make sure you say when you pass to the right, get the children to show you their right hand or point in the right direction that you're going to go. So then it would go, oh, little Liza Jane. Oh, little Liza Jane.
Everyday junk instruments can be really brilliant for using in your classroom. Things like plastic bins, bottles filled with rice and beans, or even broomsticks can be used creatively. On the screen, you'll see some examples of junk instruments and rhythm patterns that you could use. You might even set up stations with different rhythms and have children rotate and play them as an ensemble. That's what I've done before. It's also worth reaching out to your music partnerships, your local music partnership. They had a massive bin that we used in my school that they just was filled with junk instruments that they delivered to the school. It was free and we got to keep it for the term. So it's worth reaching out and asking if they have something similar. These patterns can just be really, really simple 4-beat patterns using crotchets, quavers, and rests. And as the children rotate and play them, you can again gradually build that whole class composition. If your school has access to laptops or iPads, take advantage of the many free apps you will find on there. They are a great way to be able to cover composition in the curriculum. One of my favourites is Incredibox, which I've used countless times, and it is such a hit with the children. So I might set a brief. For example, you've been asked to create a music for a car advert. Your piece should start pianissimo, include a crescendo, and feature some forte dynamics. How you do this is up to you, but you must include all these elements. This kind of task gets children thinking about musical terminology, composing with intention, and working to a set brief. In school concerts, I've even had pupils share their recordings. So we've recorded them in lessons and then I've shown them on the screen during a school concert. And it's always a hit. It's something so different for a concert as well. On screen, I've listed a few more free apps that are great for encouraging creativity and composition in the classroom. Another thing that can really hinder teachers from teaching quality music lessons is finding the time. I appreciate as a teacher, you are going to have a million things to do and so much to fit in. So here are just a few ideas to be able to fit music in small bite-sized pieces. So for example, in the morning when children are coming into the classroom, play a short piece of music as they come in. Ask them to note the mood or the tempo in their journals, just something really quick that they can write down, have a quick discussion before break time or after lunch, and that's 2 minutes done. You could also do something like guess the instrument, so you could have a cello piece playing and the children have to try and guess what the instrument is. This could be done every single day, and that soon builds up to really create some musical knowledge, musical appreciation, and it's a really good way of just getting in a short bit of music. Another great way to get in music is to have what I call a tiny spotlight. So choose one composer, a genre, or an instrument for the whole week and drip feed these into 2-minute facts or listening clips each day. So it could be that you have jazz as your genre for the week and you listen to a different jazz piece each day. And that could just be 2 minutes before the children go home, after lunch, as a way of settling them down and calming them down. And again, this just still builds up their musical knowledge and appreciation. PE and movement can also include some music, so you could include some dance. We've done things like we did America in my class, and we did some like line dancing and things like that. Discuss the music as well. Things like this are a really good way of getting cross-curricular links, but also ticking off music as part of your curriculum during the week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope this has sparked some new ideas on shown how manageable music can be, even when time is tight or your budget is tight or maybe your confidence is lacking a little bit. I share some really exciting ideas on my blog, From Panic to Performance, and on my Instagram page. But most of all, I hope music becomes a part of your timetable that excites you and that you look forward to and not something for you to worry about.